Hi everyone! Hope you're having a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you're joining in from. We'll give it another minute to let some more folks join in, but in the meantime, if you want to wave or let us know where you're coming in from, please go ahead and do so. Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining. All right, we can go ahead and get started. So, thank you so much for joining us for our very first public update artist feature interview with Ng Sze Min. We're really excited to have her join us to talk a little bit more about her project, featured in Volume 1, Reason to the Moon. And she's going to hop on in just a bit, but before we welcome her, just a little bit more about us. So my name is Pooja, and I'm a producer for POV Spark, amongst a small and mighty team that also includes Asia Evans, Akamarat Tuliev, and Opiemi Olukemi. POV Spark is the interactive arm of the long-running PBS doc series, POV. If you haven't been, you should definitely keep an eye out for our broadcast happening on Monday nights, Eastern time, and in all other time zones, check what's happening to that end. POV Spark is we create and advance experiential forms of storytelling and programming, redefining U.S. public media to be more inclusive of emerging technologies and interactive makers. And one of the projects we launched just earlier this year is Public Update. If you haven't had a chance to check out Public Update yet, please do so. Public Update is our home for exploratory content about the world around us, driven by and curated for non-traditional independent voices. It's a public media project currently accessible online, with more surprises to come in the near future. Public Update will grow to be a resource platform inspiring the next generation of experimental documentary creators in the very near future. And now is officially time to welcome our artist for today. So please, if everyone can drop a clapping hands emoji in the comments, say welcome, say they're really, really excited. And Ng Sze Min, if you could request to join, there we go. Hello. How are you doing? Where are you joining from?
Hi, I'm actually joining from Singapore. Can you hear me all good?
I can hear you.
That's great.
Brilliant.
Hi, everyone who's just joined us.
All right. Well, get started. Tell us a little bit more, some stuff you've done in the past, your general, like, who are you?
Okay, I'm a composer and sound designer from Singapore. So I've been writing music, songs for theater, and I've also worked in the community. So I've done projects where we go into the community and we collect stories from the residents and then we stitched it into a podcast. So that was a project that I did with Shophouse & Co. in Singapore. And yeah, there was this little cute recording booth that was situated in the neighborhood. And I was personally there as well. I also collected sounds from the neighborhood that were special to the location.
Right on. And specifically, like, thank you so much for joining us and doing this, and would love to hear more now about the project that you gifted us, and that we are so lucky to be able to include as a part of Public Update and the first volume, which is Reason to the Moon. And would love to hear more about, you know, why sound for you, because sound seems to be such an integral and central part of all of your work. So why sound? And also for Reason to the Moon specifically, what are your inspirations behind this project, and sort of your intent going into and wanting to create this gift of a piece of work?
Sure. Okay, so Reason to the Moon is a 3-minute work. It's really short, but what I wanted to do with it, I have two reasons. So the first one is to get everyone into space. It's such an impossible journey for every one of us. We can only go to space through pictures, that the satellites have taken, or through astronauts. And no, not everyone gets to be an astronaut, and it's such an exclusive experience. So I thought that, okay, why not we do it through sound? And I've always been fascinated about space, about the universe. And when I made that work, I looked into how astronauts, how they felt about going into space. And I learned that there was this overview effect that many of them experience. So what this overview effect is, looking at Earth in hanging in the deep darkness of the universe, and then wanting to protect it, and cherishing Earth, just by looking at it from afar. And once they saw that, and that's how we get pictures of, Earth being in hanging in the deep darkness, and it's just this blue globe, and surrounding it is just the blackness, which is something that, to me, it was very moving when I first saw it. And if that was what astronauts felt, then I also felt that, okay, what about taking that experience back to everyone whose feet are still firmly on the ground? Like, we don't have to go up to space to experience this overwhelming sensation of wanting to protect Earth. Yeah, and I thought that, okay, sound could definitely take us to places, and so I made this work.
Thank you so much. 100%. I know for me, the first time that I experienced your project, 1000% is that, there are graphics that were later on added to complement the sound. But at the end of the day, I remember the first time I experienced it was fully just closing my eyes and listening to it, and it really does feel transportative in that way. So
Thank you.
um, and so tell us a little bit more, in making it, what the process of production looked like. Where were you grabbing some of your sounds from, and walk us through that process just a little bit.
Okay. So some of the sounds that you hear, I had snippets from NASA, from the takeoff of the spacecraft, and I also had sounds of Uranus. Yeah, so these are sounds that you can find online. They are planets. They actually give off a certain frequency, and then it's being converted to sound that we can actually hear, that's within the human range. So if you, every planet and even the sun has its own sound in that sense. Yeah, so I went to listen to all of it, and then I picked one that I felt could encapsulate the experience. So yeah, these were some of the sounds that went in, and yeah.
Right on. And just generally speaking, why do you feel like you gravitate in this work and in other works, as we sort of transition into talking about what projects you might have coming down the road? Why do you turn to interactive as a means of storytelling, and trying to create work that feels immersive and interactive in that way?
I've always been very interested in having people participate in my work. So I've started from inviting others into my songwriting process. So if you brought me a poem, I would turn it into a song on the spot. And I really enjoy seeing, when people bring a poem and then their eyes light up when they sense that, oh, okay, this is something else that I can do with it. And then they take it with them, and it's something that no one can take away from them. So that spark, I feel it's something that I hope people can experience when they participate in a work that I've created. So yeah, that's why I think interactivity and participation is really important in the work that I do, because yeah, I think there is, yeah, it gives me so much joy to see something, yeah, to see that spark in someone.
Is that an open call to anyone who's tuned in to send you a poem?
Sure.
No pressure. That was totally just off the cuff. But if there are poets who are tuned in or eventually see this,
Definitely.
yeah, absolutely. Right. And in creating, you just mentioned in the creation of this, you were pulling sounds from public databases. You're pulling sounds to be able to craft something that is transportative and participatory and interactive. And in creating this process from finding those initial sound bites to creating a full project, right? Are there any sort of takeaways or lessons learned from this project that you would want to share? Do you have any advice for any of the artists who are here now or might eventually see this in the near future? Just based off of your own practice, things that have helped you move forward. I think, especially right now, in conversations that I've had with artists, at this unprecedented time to be alive, we are, it can be both difficult to move forward as an artist and to want to continue to create work. But there are always blocks in the road, and there are always difficulties ahead. And if there's anything that helped you in the creation of this project or other projects that you're working on, that you would like to share. And also, a totally acceptable answer to this is like, I don't know, like, give me the advice.
Well, okay. I think I've always been fascinated about things, about the little things, about little facts. And I think if we can all keep that fascination, even at home, because it's so easy to just, look up something and then learn something. So I was fascinated about the universe when my dad first shared it with me when I was about 10. And I never knew that fascination could take me this far either. So it's just something at the back of my mind. And I just feel that everything that you are interested in, they will somehow convene, and whatever you create will be that very special combination of everything you're interested in. So it's definitely unique, because you and we definitely like a couple of things that are different. So yeah, I'm interested to see what people come up with, just in their everyday, their little fascinations.
I love that so much. That's an important reminder, I think, for all of us, especially as we spend more and more time at home. And I want to encourage everyone now, if you have a question that you would like to ask our lovely artist who is here with us today, please, by all means, go ahead and go for it. We have one, which is someone who says they're interested in how your music knowledge influences how you record and use natural sound.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. So in music, we have the elements of, say, rhythm, melody. When we talk about phrasing and all that. So these are the musical elements that we can use when we listen to environment sounds or natural sounds, because there's definitely rhythm in, let's say if we recorded the traffic. So we will listen to, you can listen to the different type of pitches that's going on in the traffic. So it could be, say, the ambulance, something a little high pitched. It could be the horn, or it could be the traffic lights. So they all carry their own rhythms, and I feel that's why you can treat like environment sounds or natural sounds as music too, because fundamentally all these the rhythm, the pitch, and all of that is in there.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm trying to see if anybody else has. Can I pin this? Yes. Beautiful. I have just pinned the link to Simmons' project, which is right at the bottom, right over there.
Yeah. Thanks, Jackson, for your question.
And with that being said, what projects do you have coming down the pipeline? If you're working on anything right now that you might want to share and talk about right now, or also we can share some links to them.
Yeah, sure. So something that's upcoming is actually an audio play, but there is also participation within the work. It's everything's online now, so anyone anywhere in the world can experience it. So this one, it's where I collaborated with someone in Singapore as well. He's now a friend of mine, and he's blind. So in our interaction, his sensitivity to sound combined like with mine, I actually learned so much about him, like to sound. And in this piece, we connect and we become friends. Yeah, during a time like this. And that is a piece that's happening online. And another one, it's called Recipe for Sweet Sounds. So that's one. So that's that's one where I am the host, and we use fruits and vegetables to create sounds out of it. And for me, I will be telling the stories that recipes tell, like the stories that recipes tell. Yeah. So so these are the two upcoming shows: Recipe for Sweet Sounds and Fetching Sanctuary. I have those links under my profile, so you can check it out under my Instagram profile.
Amazing. Right on. Perfect. And your Instagram page is also, is it fair to say that's a good place to also check out maybe more of your work as well from the past?
Yeah.
Awesome. And do you want to tell us, as we sort of wrap up for today, a little bit more about Artwave Studio and the work, just generally speaking, as your baby?
Yeah, it's a 2-year-old baby. Yeah, it's a studio that I've set up with my partner Zion. So I think he's also watching this right now. So we write music, for film, for theater, and we've also been doing a lot of interactive works and digital ones, especially during this period of time. So I look to definitely do more participatory work. And you can look out for the works that are upcoming with the studio as well.
Right on. With that being said, if there are any other questions from the folks who are tuned in, now is your opportunity to do so.
I think we have quite a few that just joined.
Are there any like dream collaborations that you have? And that's totally, if that is something that you're still thinking about, that's totally okay too. But are there any are there any dream collaborations in terms of types of work that you would like to create in the not so distant future?
Well, I think there might be one. So, VR is pretty visual,
Mhm.
but I'm also thinking, what might VR in sound be like? Yeah,
Mm,
okay, it's a little up in the air, but yeah, that's definitely something that's possible. Yeah, and I think someone just asked the question, like, what inspired me?
yes.
Um, like in general, or the work.
We talked a little bit about specific to Reason to the Moon,
Yeah.
what inspired you. And so maybe for this time, just generally speaking, what inspires you?
Mm. Okay. What inspired me? Well, just now I shared about the little things in life that fascinate me.
Hmm.
So that's definitely something that inspires me all the time. So, well, a fun fact about me is that I don't listen to music while I travel because I'm always tuning my ears to what other people who aren't listening to music are listening. So when I'm traveling, yeah, on the train or the subway or even when I'm walking, I'm always tuning into to what's happening so that in the event that I have to use sounds to kind of subvert expectations or you know uh, just being familiar with what you subconsciously listen to. That's when I can play with it because you are familiar with the sound, but you might not be thinking about it. But I've been thinking about it, and so I know how to use it to give you a different kind of experience. Yeah, to kind of shake things up a bit. Yeah, so that's I would say that's something that inspires me every day.
That's beautiful. And I think that's a perfect note to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time and giving us your work. We are so thrilled to be able to feature it on our very first volume of Public Update. We are going to keep doing these with some of the other artists that are featured in Volume One. And thank you so much for being our first artist feature.
Yeah, thanks, Pooja.
Of course. Alrighty, everyone. Round of applause for Simon. Alrighty, have a wonderful evening. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Have a good day. See you.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please do check out Public Update. The link to Reason to the Moon is pinned below. Keep an eye out for all that is coming out from POV Spark in the coming months. And we will be back with another artist next month. So we will see you then. Thank you all so much for joining us and have a lovely day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Stay healthy, stay safe, and go check out Public Update. Alrighty. Take care, all.